UFC on ABC2. This is the full fight card recap and thoughts. We'll talk about what I think should be next for some of the fighters and what I thought of some of the bouts. Let's quickly just run through some of the undercard results. Impa Kasanganay gets a submission win. Big win to bounce back. His debut at 170, very good for him. Beat Sasha Politnikov. Da Un Jung, way taller than William Knight, got a win by unanimous decision there. Luis Saldana and Jordan Griffin, competitive fight. Some lines thought that Jordan Griffin should have won. I personally picked him to win it, but Saldana gets the decision nod. Jack Shore and Hunter Azure go back and forth. Personally disagreed with the split decision. I thought it was pretty clear cut, 29-28 at the least for Jack Shore, but split decision victory for him. He moves to 14-0 and he out-wrestled Hunter Azure, who's supposed to be a beast of a wrestler. That was a great performance. He's got a huge future. Joris Danhouse sleeps Jorgen De Castro in 3 minutes. I think De Castro's time in the UFC maybe dwindling to an end. 3 straight losses, and this was a hellish knockout. He went completely out. Reminded me of his debut against Justin Tafa. John Makdessi and Ignacio Bahaméndez. Split decision win for Makdessi. I thought he earned the decision there. I didn't even think the split was needed. I thought he could have won a unanimous. Outstruck him, landed the better strikes. Ignacio did not use his height to his advantage, and John Makdessi, the veteran of the game, gets a good win. Matthias Gamrot looked like a maybe future world champion, gets a win over Scott Holtzman, TKO in the second round. That was an excellent performance. He's got a very bright future. Big shot landed and then puts away Scott. Joe Solecki versus Jim Miller. Joe Solecki puts it on Jim Miller and gets himself the biggest win of his career. He's got a huge future as well in the lightweight division. I think 2 fighters with bright futures at lightweight right here. I don't think you match them up against one another just yet, but I do think very hot. Very hot. And I do think maybe they fight each other in the near future as well. Daniel Rodriguez, Mike Perry. Let's talk about it for a moment. Disappointing performance for Mike. Got beat up by Daniel Rodriguez throughout the fight. What do I think's next for both guys? For Rodriguez, I think him and Miguel Baeza is a fun matchup. He really outstruck the hell out of Mike Perry here and busted his face open. He did get taken down a couple of times, but nothing as far as damage from Mike Perry from that top position. Mike Perry was completely outclassed here by Daniel Rodriguez. What's next for Perry? I don't know. He might need some time off. Could also maybe see him fighting somebody who's a little bit more ranked towards the back of the division. Maybe a Lyman Good or a Dwight Grant. I don't know. Mike Perry is in a very odd position here. He's 1-4 in his last 5 and has not looked good in his last 2. He's gotten beat up badly and has taken a ton of damage. Since that Vicente Luque fight, he's never been the same. So I don't know, man. Mike Perry, guy who's taken a lot of damage, could potentially be over for him. But I do think the UFC gives him at least one more fight. Now, the next fight on this main card, another epic performance. Mackenzie Dern taps out Nina Nunez in the first round. Mackenzie Dern just cemented her claim as a top contender, in my opinion. No doubt about it. Let me quickly bring up the UFC rankings because I do want to talk about what I think should be next for Mackenzie Dern. Grappling clinic. As soon as she got on top, I knew it was trouble for Nina Nunez. I thought Nina would be able to defend some takedowns, but man, all Mackenzie Dern needed was one moment, and then she gets the armbar win. Also was the slight dog. Excellent performance. Such a bright future for her. All right, so in the women's strawweight division, make sure you guys can see that. Yes, you can. Okay, good. All right, Nina Nunez was 5. Dern was 11. I think that boosts her way up. Could find herself in a big fight against somebody towards the top of this weight class. Maybe you do her and Carla Esparza. I'm kind of interested in seeing that grappling match, how that would go. I think that might be the fight to make. Bright future for Mackenzie Dern, without a doubt here. Biggest win of her career. She's a very hot prospect. Actually, she's a very hot contender at this point. Tough loss for Nina, but she will be back. I do think she'll want to at least do one more fight, but she is 35, so getting up there in age. Julian Marquez destroyed Sam Alvey. I was like, wow. I thought Alvey would be a lot more durable, man. If you look, I mean, normally takes a pretty good shot. He's been fighting against huge light heavyweights and going the distance in his last 2. Had a draw with Da Un Jung and a split decision to Ryan Spann, but no, the Cuban Missile Crisis landed some missiles on the chin of Sam Alvey and then chokes him to sleep in the second round. Julian Marquez is the real deal. I think he's going to be getting a pretty good fight next. I mean, yes, this matchup was not against the most high-rated fighter of all time in the middleweight division, but a longtime veteran of the game. Let's quickly look for Julian Marquez in the rankings here. This win over Sam Alvey, though, huge victory for him, especially the way he did it. That's the way you have to beat Sam Alvey. You finish him, that's impressive. Let me find Julian real quick. We'll see if we can find him here. He's ranked number 33 here. This is not the official rankings, but that's what had him listed. Depends where they want to go with him. He lost to Chirico by a split decision. They're pretty closely ranked, but oh no, Roman Dolidze is actually fighting Chirico. It's already a scheduled bout. A lot of guys have scheduled fights. I don't think Trevin Giles takes that step back in competition personally. I don't know. We might have to wait it out a bit before we actually get a matchup for him. I don't mind the fight between him and Tom Breeze. I think it'll be entertaining, but I don't know if they necessarily go with that bout. We'll see, I guess, but as of right now, some names, maybe Joaquin Buckley, who's coming off a loss, you match him up versus Julian Marquez. I think that's kind of a fun fight. We'll see. We'll see what happens, what the UFC wants to do. For Sam Alvey, I don't know if he'll be in the UFC any longer. Sad truth about it. I think he's lost like 5 of his last 6. Look at it real quick when he has the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a draw. So he's 0, 5, and 1 in his last 6. And that win was a split decision over Gian Villante. Yeah, definitely time is coming to an end, I believe, for Sam Alvey in the UFC. But I still think at light heavyweight, he's more of a problem than he is at middleweight. He needs to quit cutting weight because he can't take shots the same at middleweight at all. Arnold Allen gets the biggest win of his career, beating Sodiq Yusuf. I was so impressed by him. Excellent performance, man. Very close fight, competitive throughout, but the right man won it. Great performance for Arnold Allen. Bright future for him. He's definitely going to be ranked pretty highly now in this featherweight division. See if I'm blocking it off. Let's make sure you guys can see it. All right, so let's look who I think could be next for him. He was number 10. He beat the number 11 guy. A lot of names out there. I know some of the guys are booked in the top. I don't know if they were going to give him, a guy like Josh Emmett next. Just because, he doesn't have that same name value as some of the other guys in the rankings. I guess we'll see what's next for Arnold Allen, but I do think he deserves to be respected and get somebody in the top 10 here because he definitely is pretty high level. For Sodiq Yusuf, bit of a step back, but I do think he will be back with a fire under his ass in the next fight. Just wasn't able to let it go against Arnold Allen, man. He got a tough decision loss, but not the end of the world for him here, but still disappointing defeat. The next fight was the main event where Marvin Vettori controlled Kevin Holland primarily for all 5 rounds. A few moments for Holland throughout, but really nothing crazy as far as, moments for him. He did land a few good strikes and, some combos, but nothing significant. It was mostly Vettori controlling on the ground throughout the entire fight. Marvin Vettori moves towards the top of the weight class. I believe either a fight against Paulo Costa could be next, maybe even a fight versus Adesanya, or you could even see the rescheduling of him and Darren Till. For Kevin Holland, I like maybe a Brad Tavares fight. Just give him a step back in competition. The guy's been fighting the best of the best for a while, and he's struggling. So I think take it a little easier on him. Give him a guy that's maybe more of a striker, so we don't have to deal with him just being controlled throughout. And I do think he needs to get on top of his wrestling. He's got the tools with the jiu-jitsu. He's got the tools with the striking, but the wrestling is a clear weakness time and time again. I'm going to say Vettori might need one more before a title shot because it wasn't the most impressive way to beat Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland's a guy that doesn't make you look good. He doesn't let you look good. Overall, though, good performance for Vettori. He gets the win. Holland, tough guy, put on definitely a better fight than he did against Derek Brunson, but another disappointing loss for him. Overall, pretty decent card. The fun main event. I enjoyed covering it. I did a live commentary actually for the card. Had some viewers. Was during the day, so we didn't have the views that would have probably came if it was a later in the evening card. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Also, guys, follow my social media. Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And I will see you all in the next video.